How will we know the end?
You'll know.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back for another Game of Thrones Season 8 Endgame Theories video. I wanted to do another Q&A video, that way I could discuss some things that you have been thinking about. I did receive a ton of great questions this time, so I think I will make another video next week, that way I can answer some of the ones that I didn't get to today. Like all my other Q&A videos, I try to answer the questions that have the most likes because I assume those are the ones everyone is wanting to hear me talk about the most. So with that being said, let's begin. The first question is from Tendo Payne, and it says, I have always believed that the Night King has his reasons for what he is doing, and that he is not pure evil. He might even be the 13th Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, and the songs about him are lies. Certain tales about the others are lies. George R.R. Martin did say many times that the villain is the hero of the other side. What are you expecting regarding the White Walkers and the Night King to be revealed? First, I just want to say I think you're absolutely right. The Night King is not pure evil, or at least I don't think it was this man's desire to be killing everyone. You could kinda see by the way the Night King was created. He didn't ask for this. The Children of the Forest had to tie him up and gag him so they could turn him into their instrument of death and destruction. He was created for one reason and one reason only. The children were at war, and they needed help in order to save their own race and their sacred trees. If they never would have created him, this wouldn't have happened, but in their mind it was their only option, and it obviously worked, at least for a time. There has to be some reason to explain why the Night King eventually turned on his own creators. Something had to happen that caused them to start killing again, but we have seen a few instances that prove they aren't purely evil, because they have spared some lives. In the very first episode, they allowed one of the Rangers from the Night's Watch to live, and in the next season they allowed Samwell Tarly to live. So if their only goal was to kill every human, they would have killed them too. I think the most logical explanation for why the others are back and killing again is because some pact or agreement must have been broken. No one knows exactly how the first long night ended. The legend about the last hero says the others were advancing and on the verge of defeating the humans, until the last hero and his 12 companions set out to find the Children of the Forest. The 12 companions ended up dying, but the last hero did find the Children of the Forest, and shortly after that the fighting stopped, and the long night ended. It never said what actually happened though. We don't know how the last hero and the children were able to get the others to stop and go back north. The others obviously weren't completely defeated, or else they would all be gone, but we know that isn't true because they are back. So to me, it makes sense that the last hero and the Children of the Forest and the others must have came to some kind of agreement, and whatever those terms were must have been broken. The others stayed away for thousands of years, so whatever happened had to have been fairly recent. I don't think it was the birth of the dragons either, because dragons were around hundreds of years ago, and the others didn't attack anyone, so it has to be something else. And I think it will be the last big twist. The showrunners and George R.R. Martin both said there would be 3 big twists in the Game of Thrones series. According to them, Princess Shireen getting burned alive was one of them, and Hodor's reveal and death was another one. So that only leaves one twist left, and I think since we haven't learned why the Night King is back, it must have something to do with that. I think we will learn what is motivating them, and it's probably going to come as a surprise to most of us, but I don't think it's because their intentions are purely evil. George said that all of his characters and creations would be gray, so it wouldn't make much sense if they were just mindless killing machines. That's not what he wanted to create. The next question is from Gaudy214 D-Town, and this one says, how important is Arya Stark to the final endgame? You're not gonna like my answer, but I have to be honest, I don't think she is very important in terms of the endgame. I don't think Arya will be the one to kill the Night King, nor do I think she will be the one to kill Cersei Lannister. However, I do believe Arya will be very useful. She has had some excellent training over the years, and she now has a Valyrian steel weapon. I have already went on record a few times saying I think Arya will kill at least one White Walker with her dagger, but she might even kill more than one. It just depends how many White Walkers are left. Also, with Arya's ability to wear different faces, she could be used to slip behind enemy lines without raising any suspicions, but I don't think they need Arya to win any of the wars. Even with her training, she's still only one person, and unfortunately for her character, she's not one of the extremely special characters like a Daenerys who has dragons, or Jon, who is the Song of Ice and Fire. Now, I should say if Arya decided to settle down and get married and have children, she would be very important then, especially for House Stark, because their name is on the verge of going extinct. There are only a few Starks left, and none of them have any children right now, but someone from this family needs to produce an heir, and it should have the Stark name. Whichever remaining Stark decides to do this will ultimately save their house. That's one thing Arya could do that would raise her importance up a couple levels. But Arya doesn't seem to be interested in that. Let's just hope one of them will before it's too late. The next question is from I'm Moked, and it says, what about Sansa ending up with Podrick? After what she's been through, she could use his magic cock-a-doodle-doo. Well, this kinda relates to what I was just saying about Arya Stark. It would be nice to see one of the Stark children start a relationship, that way we could have some kind of hope for the future. Jon is about to have a child, but he doesn't carry the Stark name. Since he is the king, I guess he could technically give the kid whatever name he wanted, but I'm not so sure that he will. I have a feeling we will see at least one of the Stark daughters enter some kind of a relationship before it ends, but I doubt Sansa will end up with Podrick. It just doesn't make that much sense to me. Podrick doesn't come from a very powerful house, and him and Sansa haven't even really acknowledged each other, so them getting together would kinda come out of nowhere. If Sansa ends up with anyone, I think it will be Tyrion or Gendry. This story is mostly based around the War of the Roses, and that was ended when both feuding houses entered a marriage alliance. Since the Starks represent the Yorks and the Lannisters represent the Lancasters, I could see Sansa and Tyrion getting back together in the end, in order to stop the war between these two families. I also think Gendry would make sense too. Gendry will most likely be legitimized by Jon or Dany, that way his house doesn't go extinct either. And we know ever since Season 1 that a Stark and Baratheon marriage was on the horizon. Robert always wanted to join houses with Ned, since they basically grew up as brothers. And this could be done with Gendry marrying one of the Stark daughters. This next question is from Neo B, and he says, in Season 2, Theon Greyjoy said that Ned Stark said 100 men can defend Winterfell against 10,000 men. Do you think this will come into play in Season 8? Yes, this will absolutely come into play, and we have already seen evidence of this thanks to some of the set photos. Winterfell will come under attack, and it will even be burned, but I don't think the castle will fall. This castle is very magical. It was built by Brandon the Builder with the help of the Children of the Forest. Most of what we see was built much later, but its foundation sits on top of the crypts of Winterfell, and as long as there is always a Stark here, the castle will remain. It might be severely damaged by the Night King's dragon, but it will not crumble like the wall did. At least I hope not. If 100 men can protect this castle against 10,000, then I think 1,000 men should be able to protect it from 100,000 whites. But we know Winterfell will be guarded by much more than that. Almost all of the remaining Northmen will be there, plus the Unsullied and Dothraki, and whoever Jaime Lannister possibly brings. They will also have 2 dragons against 1, so I am pretty confident they will hold their ground. The next question is from Game of Thrones Addict. What role will the Direwolves play in the upcoming season? Ghost is obviously very important. You're right, the Direwolves are very important, even though they are highly underused. If it wasn't for these Direwolves, some of the Starks would have died a lot sooner. Summer saved Bran on more than one occasion, and Summer saved Jon as well. Even though it was mostly Bran because he warged into him, but you know what I mean. These Direwolves were a gift from the old gods, and the Starks were meant to have them at their sides at all times. Almost as if they were their shadows. It's very disappointing that they can't be included more, but I understand why they are left out of the bigger battles. A direwolf wouldn't last very long when you have mounted men charging at you, not to mention all the arrows that are typically being loosed. But I am hoping Ghost has a bigger role in the final season. I'm not so sure about Nymeria and her pack though. It almost seemed like Arya and Nymeria said goodbye for the last time. However, that doesn't mean Nymeria and her pack won't show up again. I know a lot of people have been wondering if they will show up and save Arya at some point next season. and I actually made a video about a year ago, and in that video I talked about Bran Stark's superpowers. I thought it would be really cool if Bran was able to warg Nymeria and her entire pack and bring them north. I don't know how likely that is, but I believe we could see one of the Starks get saved by a direwolf again. Since there is only one season left, why not go out with a bang and just include every single thing that you can? They have a record-breaking budget again, so there is no reason why we shouldn't see Ghost or even Nymeria play some kind of a role. I should warn you though, don't hold your breath. Let's just hope the writers of the show have heard all the criticism for not including Ghost in Season 7. The next question is from D Ranks, and it says, other than Jon, Daenerys, and Bran, which character do you think will be the biggest X factor in defeating the Night King and his army? In my opinion, it has to be Melisandre. I think she has always been the X factor in terms of beating the Night King. Her only problem is no one wants her around because her approach is a little hard to grasp for most people. But they will need her, and she is coming back to Westeros to provide that help. The last time Melisandre talked to Jon, she made it very clear that he needed her.
You've seen the Night King, Jon Snow. You know the Great War is still to come. You know the army of the dead will be upon us soon. And you know I can help you win that war.
Melisandre's life work has been trying to find Azor Ahai for when the time comes to face the darkness. She has always known this day would come, and she has always known she had a role to play. This has always been a story about two opposing sides coming together, which is ice and fire. The Night King is the ultimate symbol of ice. Not only is he made out of ice, but he can manipulate it with his magic. But then you have Daenerys on the other side, who represents fire, because of her Targaryen blood and her dragons. But you also have Melisandre, who knows how to manipulate fire with her magic. You could also say that Melisandre has already played a massive role in defeating the Night King because she brought ice and fire together, and they will lead the fight against the others. The next question is from Walid, and it says, do you think the Night King will talk? No, I doubt we will ever see him talk, and according to the writers, we never will. They were asked this question during an interview, and they basically said, what would the Night King say? Anything he would say would be anticlimactic. They said it would only diminish his character, so after reading that, I don't think it will happen. The next question is from Giannis, and it says, do you think that there is a possibility for Viserion to be killed by a Valyrian steel arrow used by the ballista? Yeah, I think that would work. We have seen Valyrian steel and dragonglass kill the Night King's creations before, so I don't see why it wouldn't work for the dragon too. Mira killed a White Walker with a dragonglass tip, so a Valyrian steel arrow being shot out of a ballista should certainly do the trick. I think a weirwood arrow could work as well, as long as it could pierce its skin. Unless it hits its eye, then it should definitely kill it. I also think Drogon might play a role in Viserion's death as well. Since Drogon was named after Khal Drogo, and Viserion was named after Viserys, we might see another Drogo kill another Viserys. If you would like to hear all of my thoughts on this topic, then you should definitely check out my video called How to Defeat the Night King's Dragon. In that video, I listed all the different ways I think Viserion can die. But just to answer your question, I would say yes, a Valyrian steel arrow shot out of a ballista should kill him. This next question is from Abu Ali, and it says, do you think Cersei Lannister is truly pregnant, or is she just faking a pregnancy to make Jaime Lannister stay with her and fight by her side? Yeah, I actually think she is pregnant, although I wouldn't put it past Cersei to do something like that. We know Cersei will go to any lengths to hold on to her power, but I think she is telling the truth. Also, the entire plot leaked last season and it was 99.9% correct. The only scene they left out was Cersei's miscarriage and Varys speaking to the little birds. If her pregnancy was fake, I think it would have been noted in the plot leak somewhere. And even though she never had the miscarriage, I still believe she will. I think it might even be used as a plot device to help push Cersei's madness even further. This unborn child is the last thing she is holding on to, but once she loses that, all bets are off. She will go out in a blaze of glory, I'm sure, and she will try and take everyone to hell with her. I will answer one more question in this video, then I'll get out of here, but I'm saving all the other questions you left because there were so many good ones I didn't want them to go to waste. So I'll make another video out of those sometime next week. This last question is from Lucid Horizon, and I felt like I should answer this question soon because I have seen this become very popular as of lately. This one says, have you seen the Littlefinger faked his death theory? And if so, what do you make of it? Yes, I have seen this theory because everyone was asking me what I thought about it, so I did go and watch the video. And first, I just have to say, I thought it was a great video. It was very well put together, and the evidence that was provided was very intriguing. And I also think it would be a cool twist on Littlefinger's death. However, I do not think it's true. Littlefinger is dead and he won't be coming back, but I do want to say that I did not like how Littlefinger's story ended last season. He obviously deserved to die, but the way it led up to that was very underwhelming in my opinion. I think that storyline in Winterfell last season was atrocious. So I completely understand why some people don't want to believe that's how Littlefinger died. I would prefer if Littlefinger had one last ace up his sleeve, but I just don't think we have enough time to do that. All of the focus needs to be on the Night King and dealing with Cersei Lannister, but let me know what you think. I talked about several different things in this video, so feel free to leave several different comments if you have some opinions about some of the theories I discussed today. I want to thank everyone for watching this video, I really do appreciate that, and I also want to thank everyone on Patreon that supports this channel. Have a great day everyone, I'll see you soon. Bye.